Hey, welcome back everybody. We're starting off set 12 with a bang, and we're starting with the Deeplands deck. This is Regnerus. So, this is a really cool Granblue aesthetic deck from the Skyride manga. I've been really looking forward to this deck, and I'm glad that I finally get to play it physically because I've just been playing it on Area. We have, let's see here. I think we have like 5 or 6 different profiles planned for this set. We might have more, but expect on Sunday you're either going to see Alcalzo, which is the other Skyride deck, or you will see the new Silhouette, which is a deck I've been really excited for. But yeah, we're going to get straight into this one. Uh, we'll start off with the ride line. We have the cutest starter known to man. Like, look at this little guy. Like, how do you what? That's amazing. I love him. Um, this it's like this and like the Magnolia Cat are like my favorite starters from Stokia. So you have the grade zero. You have the grade one Deeplands, which is when the grade two rides on top of it. You're gonna search your deck for Call of the Deeplands and add it to your hand. You then have the grade 2, which is when the grade 3 rides over it. You get to grab, you can look at top 7 and you get to send 2 of them to the graveyard, which is really cool. And then we have the main grade 3. So the main grade 3 has 2 really good abilities. The first is for an Energy Blast 2, you get to call something from your drop, which is really nice. There's lots of good call targets like Harvest Elf, even bringing back a Philander just to have an 18k booster. Like, there's lots of good targets for him to grab. The second one is at the end of a battle that he attacks, you counterblast one, retire 2 rear guards, and you get to pick a different Regnerus, so that'll be his little skeleton, to ride from your drop zone. It won't have any drive checks, but you'll ride it as a stand, and then any trigger effects that this card has gained, like in terms of power and critical, your new Ragnaros will gain. So the only important thing to note with that is for the over trigger, you will just gain the 100 million. If you have something like Bless Favor or the Blue OT, the critical is considered a additional effect, not exactly a trigger effect, so it doesn't apply over. At least that's what I have been told. But yeah, it's a really cool concept. You do 5 if you have the right cards, you do 6 attacks every turn. If you don't, it's just a 5 attack deck, which is totally fine. But yeah, that is it for the ride line. We'll go on to a big portion of the deck, which is the grade threes. We'll start with the classic 3 Persona rides. You just can't beat them, man. And then we have 4 copies of the other Ragnaros. This is his skeleton. It's kind of cool because like you start off as a sea creature and he like spits out his skeleton or whatever. Uh, I think it's really cool, like design wise or like effect wise. But this guy, he has the ability when he's placed on the grade three, you soul blast one, and then you get to call the old grade three from your drop back to your field, which gives you your extra attack. It also has the ability that if your opponent's at grade three, when it attacks, it does 1 drive check, which is really cool. So you get 3 drives a turn once your opponent's at grade three, and the last thing is that you get 5k shield when you block with this for each grade of your Deeplands Vanguard. So drawing more of these is never a dead draw. It's a nice 15k shield once you're at grade three, which we are always a big fan of. We'll move this up just a tiny bit. Also, the silver looks gorgeous. I can't wait to get the rest of them in. We have the order card that was mentioned before, which is Call of the Deeplands. Again, this card is gorgeous, man, like insanely good. So it has the ability. It's a set order, which is a little different, but it has the abilities that one, it can be played from the drop zone, which is really cool. Uh, to play the card, you do a Soul Blast 1 and you retire a rear guard. You get to give your Vanguard +5, and then you get to call back 2 units with different names. So you could call back 2 grade 2s, 2 grade 1s, which is really cool. And then afterwards, it depends on if you have one in your order zone or not. If you don't have one in your order zone, uh, it has it'll just be giving the extra 5k to your Deeplands units that were played by effects this turn. But if this is like your second time playing this order card, because you can only have one in there, you will remove the new copy that you play, and then you will get to give your guys 10 instead of 5, which is really cool. But this power up is also restricted to your opponent being at grade 3. So it's not necessarily, these aren't necessarily like they read like you want to go second with them. But the more I test this deck, the more I realize it's way scarier for your opponent to go first. So I think that is the play with this deck. And then last grade 3 is 2 Riding a Serp Dragon, which is just when your grade 3 is placed, you get to call this card to drop, which is really cool because you can just spam this. So you can ride up into the original Regnerus, call this from drop, use this as the cost for the order to get rid of it and call back 2 things. And then when you ride into this during the battle phase, you call this back to the rear guard. It's really free. I'd want to put. There's like a part of me that wants a third copy, but I'm not like desperate for it because I feel like I just won't have any shield value if I do. On to the grade 2s, we have another card that just has like some insane art, which is this little like orca whale. He's really cool. He gets 5k shield if you are on a Deeplands Vanguard, which is really nice. And he has the ability when he's placed, you can either counterblast 1, or you could put a card from hand to soul to draw a card. And then if your opponent's at grade 3, he gets the extra 5. That's really nice. And again, this deck has some cool art, so I'm going to talk about that a lot. But I think that's probably my favorite art next to the set order. We have 4 copies of Deeplands Meredith. This is your Typhalt clone for Stokia, which is just if you played in order, you look at a Soul Blast 1, look at top 5, call something with the same grade as your Vanguard or less, or you get to end order to hand. It's a really cool card. Not like a lot to say on that specific effect, but the most important thing is when it attacks, you can blast 2 to stun one of your opponent's rear guards, so it can't stand, can't intercept, and then if your opponent's at grade 3, this will get an extra 5. So it's really cool because you can call this back from the order. This wasn't played by a unit's effect, it was played by an order's effect, so you can use this ability, and then you can just start being like, hey, like my opponent has like uh what's it called, Ezwar? They have like an Ezwar on the field that didn't gain the promo effect to be like untouchable. And just like, hey, that's not standing or intercepting for this turn. It really messes them up. And lastly, we have 1 copy of this is like a combine rusher, but for Deeplands. Just Soul Blast 1 to call him back out. And then if something was killed this turn, he gets +5. It's not necessarily the greatest card to run in this deck. You could definitely swap this out for something. I just pulled the frame rare, so I wanted to play it in the deck for a bit, but I do kind of like it every once in a while. It, it comes up in like these random niche situations. That'll be it. Oh, Ace unit. We gotta talk about the Ace unit. Um, Energy Blast can be a little tight in this deck, but I do think you want to have uh, a little extra like deck manipulation, like just milling cards and stuff. So that's why we played that. And then there was one more grade 2. I was going to show it with the grade 3s, but the grade 3s are kind of crowded up, which was our Regalis piece for the deck, which is going to be Sound of Waves. So here's the thing with Sound of Waves. Sound of Waves is not a bad card, but I'm playing it because I don't have a twin cast right now, which is like that's literally the only reason that this is here and not a twin cast. But Sound of Waves is really good because it's a 15k shield, and if your opponent Persona Road, then you get to minus something by 5. So, oh, sorry, you get to minus something by 10, which is really nice. Uh, it kind of saves you in a jam. The important thing about this deck is you don't you want to play your order once you get to grade 3 of return. So your Regalis piece, you want to be something like a Blitz order. So this is fine. Twin Cast is fine. Both are decent options. And then on to the grade 1s. We got 4 Philander. This is a graveyard deck. Philander's going to make himself right at home. 2 copies of Harvest Elf. This is really good because it just gets you some extra draws because the deck doesn't inherently draw you a lot of cards. Uh, if you wanted to play an extra copy of this, you could just cut the Combine Rusher for Deeplands, like if you really wanted to. And then lastly, 4 Perfect Guards. I mean, th- I'm waiting for the Aquaforce looking Perfect Guard, or I could do the Night Rose Perfect Guard to throw in this deck. This is just all I had on hand. I doesn't fit the theme very well, but we'll make it do, right? And then on to the triggers. The triggers are a little controversial, at least from what I've seen people talking about. So Bless Favor, I just think Bless Favor is a really strong over trigger, so I don't really want to swap it out. Of course, we're playing 8 crits. Um, we're playing 4 heals because obviously you want to have 4 heals. And then the more controversial pick, I am playing 3 draw triggers. So a lot of times, like I've seen a lot of people like messing around with this deck, and they're like, you need to have like the soul fronts or the effect fronts. But I just feel like I'm not getting enough cards in hand, even when I have Harvest Elf in loop and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted a extra way to draw cards, and I feel like with the fronts, when you check the fronts going like on your first attack, like with the regular Ragnaros, your front does nothing, which it just gives this 10k power, which is kind of cool. Whereas this is getting you a card to hand and giving you 10k power, which I kind of prefer not wasting a trigger. So that is my logic on that. If you want to run the soul fronts or the effect fronts instead, I would say go for it if you really want to. I just don't like awkward trigger effects, if that makes sense. Like if this deck, I don't even know how they could make it where like a front would feel good. Like, but a front would only feel good on the second Ragnaros attack. So I don't think it's worth playing. But yeah, that is it for this profile. Again, we got more stuff coming out. I'll probably be recording in just a little bit, so because I've got it all here with me. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'm gonna catch you guys later.